Hey everyone, thank you for joining Digital Minds webinar today on antivirus. A little housekeeping up front. The presentation should be around 20 minutes with 10 minutes for questions at the end. There's a little chat feature in your lower right hand corner, which I'll be monitoring throughout if you have any questions. We want this webinar to be informative and interactive. Also, all attendees are in listen only mode. And this webinar is being recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel at a later date. Introduce myself. My name is Jordan Nip. I'm the marketing manager of Digital Minds. So I'm the one that sends you all the emails and the newsletters if you haven't met me yet. And with that, I will hand it over to Michael Bush, whom you should know. He has been the managing partner of Digital Minds for the past 19 years. And with that, I'll let him take it away.
Thank you, Jordan. As always, we greatly appreciate everyone's time, and we really want to make this short and to the point and informational, so to help your organization or your department and gain something from this brief moment of time. So today we want to get right into we want to talk. Everybody knows about antivirus, but just what is an antivirus? It basically is it's a software guard on your computer to protect you from malware, viruses, and worms out there, and all of those are various characteristics to describe these events that basically something comes into your computer and it starts infecting it, and the performance, privacy, and those type of things. I read statistics a couple of years back that an unprotected Windows machine getting on the internet without antivirus and browsing and searching on the internet is typically infected within 75 seconds. So just something to keep in mind. And it's kind of like basically like locking your house to prevent people from coming in. So it is that that one of those locks on the door. What we're going to talk about is maybe some additional locks that kind of help prevent even further getting in there. So some of the things that why do you need antivirus is for federal compliances. Also, you can be held hostage via ransomware. We did a webinar back in February on ransomware, so it will be a good one to look at on our website, on our webinars. Keyloggers, really bad things there that the hackers will do is they'll put a keylogger on there, so they're recording all your keystrokes. So if you go to your financial websites or your banks, and they're actually grabbing your passwords as you log them in. And at that point in time, you log off. They log in right behind you. The bank thinks it's you. So one of the things they do is they do have two-factor authentication. Banks have put that in nowadays, which helps, and that's something we can offer too as a company, is doing two-factor authentication to further identify the person who's logging in case your passwords are stolen like that. Being held liable for your computer or servers. I had a good friend many years ago, had the FBI knock on his door, and he happened to host in his business multiple servers, and the FBI, one of his servers had been compromised, and the FBI confiscated all of his servers, and he didn't get them back for 3 months later. But one of those machines had been compromised and was attacking a federal facility. So in this case, it is one of those things you want to keep safeguards in place, firewalls and antivirus. And obviously the last one there, is which everybody hates, is decrease in machine performance. Those nasty little pop-ups or whack-a-mos advertisements that kind of keep going and they won't go away. So those are things that that's going to distract you from your day-to-day work and impact your productivity. So with regards to federal compliances, there's HIPAA, there's FISMA, which is related to the government, and then there's the Gramm-Leach-Billy Act, which is basically kind of the whole PCI compliance for. But that's really more the financial disclosure of information and keeping, you're doing loans and things, and then there's the actual PCI compliance also. So the first one, the Gramm-Leach, kind of ran into the whole PCI compliance aspects of it too. So all of these compliances refer to antivirus and being part of your whole cybersecurity, and that they're being maintained and up to date and those things. And part of that PC compliance is having a centrally managed logs, and so that if there is a breach or an incident, that the incident is logged, and then how is that remediated. So keeping all those logs is very important. And one of the other things is, end users should be allowed to uninstall the antivirus also for some of those compliances. There needs to be the antiviruses not only need to be antivirus, but also to be anti-malware too. So there are two different methodologies there. The malware is going to be more advertisement, and in the backware, the virus is going to be more harmful to your computer in terms of your performance. And what types of applications are attacked? Typically, as you can see here, that your browser is probably your greatest point of vulnerability, 62%. And this is a study released by Kaspersky last year. We've heard about, you may have heard about Adobe having some of their vulnerabilities, making sure those up to date in Java. And then if you happen to have an Android phone, you need to make sure your patches are up to date there. Usually say with Android, it's a little bit more freer, open system. With much freedom comes responsibility, and a lot of times some of those enforcements that you may have in a more proprietary system are not maintained there, and so people are not reminded or forget about it, and they need to maintain those things. So all these you need to keep in mind, but the first and foremost is the browser. So that's one of the strong areas that we really like to focus on. Obviously, we also focus on the other areas there through patch management. So let's go on in here. On the browser hijackers, the type you get in there is, it's going to edit your browser settings, and a lot of times what I'll say is what you think reality is not reality. They will start, when you start searching on the internet, you may thinking you're searching for a certain product or a service, and if they happen to have, they being the hackers who have gotten viruses on your system, they alter your domain name services or the way you look up on the internet. And so they start directing you to people, customers that are sponsoring them and paying them to put that put the virus on your system. And so that's the way they make money and get compensated. That's one of the reasons, the motivations for getting this stuff out there too on you. They also do these what's called DNS poisoning, and when you're looking at these things, you may look like a legitimate link on your website on your browser. When you on a legitimate company, you click on it, they actually will take it and redirect it to a place that could further infect you. In the case of downloading more keyloggers on your system and keeping track of that more more potential advertising things like that. So which we go in here to malvertising, and so when they're downloading these things to you, these what's motivating a lot of these hackers also not only just the notoriety of being able to say they took down or hacked someone, but they're getting compensated through some companies to put advertising on your computer that can pop up and then lead to their websites, which drives up their statistics. So let's say you had a Google ad out there and you get so many clicks or so much traffic, you actually get compensated by Google. And so one of the strategies out there is they will actually try to get as many systems infected with this that will drive traffic to those sites, and they get compensated indirectly that way. So that's one way of doing it. So you're helping them make money, and you're using your machine unwillingly to you or willingly, where it's just annoying you and your performance is bad because of that. So you'll start seeing things. This is a little example here. Typically, you'll go to the site and you click on a certain frame, it takes you to another one. And what they do is they embed within a website. This is actually, you go here, it goes over to another one. You're actually clicking and going actually to an external website. You think you're on a legitimate page, but you're actually going to another site. And then what can happen is they can actually download things to your system that way. It's the terminology is also drive-by spyware or advertising. Then the nasty one out there that we have to be everyone needs to be really careful of is ransomware. And you may have heard more of that in the news media. We again covered that back in January, kind of well before all the rage is going on about it. But it is it's where your data gets encrypted, and probably recently you heard about a hospital that was encrypted all their data, and they had to pay about $17,000 back to get their data. They had patients on the table at the time, and they couldn't get access to data. So in that case, they paid for it to get back. And so that's just encouraging. We recommend you do not pay. So long as you have good backup systems, you can get it back, and we'll talk about some of that here shortly in some case studies. A lot of times there's a new quote ransomware that's being promoted out there now that will actually indicate that if you give them their money, you'll get your data back. But in essence, what they did was they just deleted your data, and it's a total scam. You'll never get your data back. So you've given them money, and they won't give you your data back because they don't have it. It's already been erased. So just be aware of that. Make sure you have good backups and test those recoveries. So one of the things, statistically speaking, what have we done? We've just in the past couple of months, we've blocked almost 11,000 viruses, malwares, for our clients, and so it's a diligent effort to constantly watch this, and with the various technologies that we have, and the skill sets that we have. We have some really strong partners that assist us with this too, and so with DMI antivirus management, the system, we do the virus and malware bites, malware monitoring. We do system remediation, get it back, and we centralize. We log everything centrally. We maintain those things. Our antivirus is cloud-based and up to date, and it's even forced updates every hour. The other thing is that we provide our clients is what we call a DNS security layer too. So just having an antivirus or anti-malware system is not enough these days. It's a layering process of security layering. So you want to have multiple redundancies here in case one does not get it all. At least you have some other filtering in there. So in this case, we provide a DNS layer. So if for some reason a system were to get infected, say with ransomware, the system helps prevent that ransomware from going out back to the site and get its encryption key. So if for some reason, and we had a user many years back that just sit there and just, he wanted to install it, and he kept overriding, and got installed. Of course, it caused it, but we were getting it off and got their data back. So in this case, it would have prevented this a little further. So we've implemented all these things. We've also have at most of these cases, a lot of things will also come in even through email. When you click on a link, it's going to go out through your web browser. So we're doing filtering at the email level, and then we're doing filtering at the firewall level too. So it takes multiple layers of security, and then you have checks and balances there too as you see those coming in. So our approach is different, and we want to we manage it through the cloud. I'll keep everything up to date. We have multiple platforms looking at the system. So I think if you've got an IT provider out there doing that, just check with them, make sure they're doing something similar. If they're doing it, that's fantastic, great. Just make sure that those systems are in place. Well, let's talk about some quick case studies here. This is a company A had 160 employees, 8 offices, and their SAN got in this case got encrypted. And this is a company we weren't doing their antivirus on in this case, but we had our BDR on this site. And it's a matter of having the understanding and skill set of how to properly remediate these things too. So we were able to locate the system that infected. That took us about an hour to do that, and then we removed that system off the network, and then we were able to log into the BDR and recover their files back for them, and they were actually back up and going. We actually mounted, in this case, we mounted the drive that we had, and they worked off that BDR the rest of the day, and then we synchronized all their data back over to the main server later on, and we switched back over. So it was just a brief moment there of having to deal with this, identifying it. And that's the main thing, is you can't get in a hurry, because if you rush too quickly, you'll reinfect yourself again. You'll be back doing it again. Company B here, we had 10 employees, 1 office. Main share got encrypted. So you're going to see more and more ransomware, because the hackers are it's very lucrative to them, because companies are paying for this stuff. They don't have good backups in place. So in all these case studies, these companies, they never paid, because we had systems backed up for them. We were able to get it back. So it took about 20 minutes to find this system, and then we did different methodology this time. We found the encryption point, and we just restored it from that, and they were back up and going. Here's a company C, a 75 employee company, 3 offices. Had about 30 minutes to find it. And so the same methodology, whether it is any kind of typical infection or whatever, you're going to do, you're going to locate that machine, find it, either remediate it right then or take it off the system and get it taken care of. If it deletes files, then you've got to have some way of getting it back, or you just remove the infection, and then we scan it with multiple systems to cross-check. If obviously if the system is too bad, then it's one of those things you completely, if you can't verify and confirm that it's completely clean, then it's got to be wiped. So with that, hopefully that's been helpful about thinking about your antivirus and having a security secure layer approach. So, you know, if your company is not using that approach, or your IT firm is not doing it, just ask them if they can do that for you. If not, you know, you can give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you out there too. You know, because we essentially manage those, and you know, if it's not, you know, providing you event logs and stuff like that, and we do, you know, we're doing both antivirus and anti-malware. So you need to make sure your provider is doing that too, and you just give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you with that. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jordan.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. Look in your inbox. We'll be sending you a $5 Starbucks gift card your way. Sometimes they end up in the spam box, so just check that if you haven't gotten it by tomorrow. And I don't see any questions here. So with that, be sure to check sorry about that, it went a little too fast. Be sure to check your, it'll pop up on the screen after this, and you'll have a little survey to complete. And we really like your feedback on it. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you next month. So thanks.